Hey there folks, this is Joey DeAngelis here with Silent Film Saturday episode number 57. In continuing with April's biblical epic theme, we have my review of Cecil B. DeMille's The King of Kings. Unfortunately, I was not able to check out the 155-minute version of the film, but I was able to check out the more typically seen 112-minute version of the film. Hopefully in the near future I shall have my thoughts on the 155-minute version, but for now you'll just have to settle for my thoughts on the shorter version. But the disc that I'm reviewing today is from the Criterion Collection. It's an older DVD, as you can see, by the lack of the famous Criterion C. And here's the spine. It's one of those really thicker packages. It's got it has the 155-minute version and the 112-minute version. So that's what's included on this package. And let me just open this up, get you an idea. This is a Criterion catalog sort of thing, and then we have the booklet. Really nice, nicely put together booklet right here. Yeah, so that's, and there's the cross in the back. So, let me preface this by saying I watched the silent version of the Ten Commandments last time on Silent Film Saturday, and I was not overly impressed with that film. The visuals were impressive for the first half, but the second half was incredibly lacking, and I really didn't care about what was going on screen for most of the film. The King of Kings is a little different. It takes us with the story of Jesus in his final days. And that is an infinitely more compelling story. It's funny because I'm like, okay, I was expecting not to like it because I didn't care for the silent Ten Commandments. But I watched this version and I said to myself, I like this one. You know, basically it's like I said, the final days of Jesus. You get to see some of his disciples. You see, Pontius Pilate. You get to heal people and things like that. H.B. Warner in the film is Jesus, and I think he's an interesting Jesus because at the time he was 50-something when he played Jesus. If I'm not mistaken, because he was born in like the 1870s, and this was like 1927, 1928, so yeah, he must have been like his late 40s, early 50s, and it's funny because Jesus is typically portrayed as, 33 years of age. I think he does a fine job. I mean, a lot of it's just him standing there and having like a big presence. He also looks incredibly like withered, so it gets me to believe that this guy, was a people person. He was a bit withered. He looks like he's lived through stuff. He's not so molded and perfect. I also loved his first appearance in the film when the blind child has their sight cured, has their sight restored, and you see Jesus, I believe, for the first time, and that's a rather beautiful image. I'm trying to think what else is really exceptional. I mean, there are some really nice multiple exposures. One of the most famous ones is where you have Jesus curing Mary Magdalene, played by Jacqueline Logan, of her 7 sins, the 7 deadly sins, and it's like you see all of them on screen at once, and they're like, ah, and you go, oh my god, that's so cool, even though it's a little over the top. I'm trying to think what else interesting. Oh, and then there's the scene where he's tempted by Satan, and you see like a crowded full of people, but instead it like dissolves into like a more like a regular palace type of setting, because a lot of people think of Jesus as a king, and they're like thinking, oh, he wants to become like a king, as most of us would expect it, but he's a king, king as if like king of heaven, you know what I mean, king of Israel, so just like a more biblical king as opposed to like a monarch or a tyrant. So that was a really nice dissolve. Also, Jacqueline Logan as Mary Magdalene is rather compelling in the film. It starts out as this, this very very confident like courtesan, and then she becomes a believer in God by the end of the film. And she's good. Oh, Ernest Torrance is in the film. He plays Peter, but he also played Steamboat Bill Sr. in Buster Keaton's Steamboat Bill Jr. Interesting. And I also liked him in the film in like some of the scenes. And there's not much else I can really say about this film, except in terms of like the scale, it looks impressive. Like when Jesus is being crucified and being punished and tortured, that's really compelling stuff on screen. And of course, like one of the last scenes is Christ's resurrection, and that's done in 2-strip Technicolor, so it makes it a very visually interesting. And in addition, I just want to point out that they also quote the biblical text, like they have how they cite it on each title card. So that it is interesting. I think they're quoting directly from the text as opposed to just slapping on their own, overly melodramatic title card, if you know what I mean. I have to say, after watching the 112-minute version, I'm surprised as to how much I enjoyed it. I would like to watch the 155-minute version on another occasion. Probably won't be anytime soon. And I apologize for only being able to see the 112-minute version, but life just basically said to me, no. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the general release version of The King of Kings. Next time on Silent Film Saturday, I shall discuss my thoughts on Harold Lloyd's film, The Freshman. See you guys in 2 weeks.